my mom was initially against it of
Right.
me joining martial arts academy and all, but I convinced her. Like we had a deal. All of them were actually pro fighters, and I was the only amateur fighters there. So it was like a little bit overwhelming also at first. Slowly as I start training, I knew I was ready. So obviously, whatever will happen will happen. But uh, what I'm expecting is
That's what my first
okay.
question would be. Like, how, like, obviously, like, as guys, most of us do envision us fighting, and everybody thinks that they know how to fight, like, even at a young age. But was there a particular incident or, particular situation that you got yourself into as a young guy that gravitated you towards the sport of MMA ever?
Uh, actually, like. mm when I was in like high school, primary, my childhood days, when I was in my school days, I used to be a very introvert kid.
Hmm.
You know, sports was something which I thought I was never good at. You know,
Right.
like I was also just in studies also like average, I should say. Like I wasn't good at anything at that time. So then slowly, like I think I had a realization like I had to come out of my shell, my comfort zone, and I think that's what martial arts gave me a like door, not to open myself up. So yeah, so I think when I was in like class 7 or 8 standard, I got to meet uh Mairdin, my teammate right now.
Right.
So we were friends from high school, so I met him during that time, and uh like we used to share a lot about martial art because as a kid everyone is interested in martial art, right? We
Yeah.
want to talk about it. So we started talking about martial arts and stuff, and from there only, like he introduced me to Taekwondo. So he was
Right.
doing Taekwondo at the time. So
Right.
I also, after spending time with him, after talking with him, I also got interested. So I was curious to learn this art also. Uh, so yeah, after talking with him, I started taking private sessions with him. I go to his place, I spar with him, just having fun, and then uh my mom was initially against it of
Right.
me joining martial arts academy and all, but I convinced her. Like we had a deal. Like she said, okay, if you're forcing it so much, if you clear your matriculate, I
Okay.
will let you join my Taekwondo academy. So I kept my promise. I cleared matriculate with a good result, and then I got the permission to join like officially. And
Right.
that's how my martial art journey started with Taekwondo. Yeah.
Ah.
So
Okay. And I believe then you, even Mairdin, you both finished college, and that's when you full time have dedicated yourself to MMA at TCA.
yes, yes. By the time we were doing Taekwondo, like we were familiar with MMA, like because MMA was growing that time. UFC was telecasting in TV and all, nah? It
Yeah.
was starting to grow. So we came to know about MMA, and I like also got curious about the sport. Like
Mm.
wearing small gloves in like inside a cage, it's so like dangerous, and like no, it's like boys, if they watch it, they get hype up.
Exactly.
Like it wasn't like I wanted to make it a career, but I was curious to try it. I was curious. I don't know. I think I wanted to challenge myself also learning it because Taekwondo also helped me do that. So I thought like MMA is also something interesting which will help me in personal also, right?
Yeah.
So that was the goal, and we were like looking for MMA gyms even when we were doing Taekwondo. So,
Right.
but that time we were unaware of our academy, the Combat Academy.
Okay.
Uh, So we just stuck with Taekwondo. Only after certain years, like after we joined our college, we knew about the Combat Academy, and that's how we, decided let's leave Taekwondo and let's kickstart our journey at MMA.
Right. 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 I mean, so that's crazy because even in fact, like I have to say this, you have some really good taste because Myridin was mentioning yesterday that you introduced him to the UFC by making him watch Alexander Gustafsson versus John Jones. I was like, oh, I was
Yeah.
like, That's such a good fight to introduce anyone to the UFC. Like that's madness. Like good choice, good choice. So,
Yes,
big
yes,
ups to you. All right. So
yeah.
coming on to the next question, like you're the winner of the Kumite Warriors Series Hunt, right? And like at that point of time, which is like around 2.5 years ago, this was like one of the most
Mm.
anticipated things, like in terms of MMA in India, right? So, like,
Yes,
and
yes.
all the fights from what I watched, one of the fights you front kicked this dude, like cut him up under his chin. Like I think if you were to ask me, I would consider those to be pro fights. You weren't wearing shin guards and stuff like that. But obviously, I guess
Mm.
since it's a reality TV show as well, maybe that's why it isn't counted on your record. But like talk to me about that experience and how you think it gives you an edge over, some other fighter who might be making their professional debut today. Like,
Yeah, the Kumite Warriors Hunt was, like you said, one of the biggest thing that was happening in India during that time.
yeah,
And yeah, I was privileged enough to get the chance to compete there. So actually, this was for the professional athletes only, to be like
right,
clear. And that time I was just an amateur fighter. I didn't had any professional fights,
right.
but I went in there to make my professional debut. Actually,
Mm.
I went in there to become a professional fighter through that show. So, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, like they didn't counted it as
Yeah,
pro bout. They counted it as like pro exhibition.
yeah,
So that record didn't went into my uh, stats.
yeah,
So actually, I was supposed to be, if it went in, I was supposed to be 2-0 by now.
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, so like it was a good experience. Like when I first went in there, I got to meet other contestants,
Mm.
and all of them were actually pro fighters, and I was the only amateur fighters there. So it was like a little bit overwhelming also at first,
Yeah,
but uh, slowly as I start training, I knew I was ready
right.
to compete against those level of guys also. Because even though I was an amateur fighter, like I have done more amateur fights than those guys.
Yeah.
Even though they were professional fighters, but I have, in terms of amateur fights, I have done more amateur fights than them. So experience was something like I was confident that I'm okay, experienced enough now to compete with them. Yeah.
Good time. Yeah,
So yeah, it helped me a lot also when I uh, get into the ring with them. No? So I
right,
was confident when I entered. Yeah.
right, right. Yeah, because you did seem like one of the more seasoned contestants on the entire show, to be fair. Like you seem to be more tactical. A lot of the guys fighting didn't seem to have too many tactics while they're fighting.
During those 2.5 years, like it wasn't like I was just staying. Like I think I did like more than 5-6 camps during those 2.5 years. But all these camps went in vain because either my fights will get postponed or it will get canceled. It was happening to me a lot. So it was really a frustrating 2 years for me. Yeah. But it's okay. Like it said, everything happened for a reason and everything happened in the right time. So I think the right time is now. And I was supposed to fight this year also, early this year, and on April against the same opponent, the way
Okay.
in VFC in Delhi.
Ah,
But that fight also got cancelled in the last week because my opponent he got injured and we had to cancel that fight also.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Because he fought Ovais Sarwar recently. Was that the same fight that you guys going to fight, or was that before? Um, I'm not
No,
sure.
that was before. That was after he beat that guy.
Okay. Move on, and we look forward to brighter things because you're going to be competing,
Mm.
You're going to be making your professional debut
Yeah.
against Javed Amdi. He's an Afghani fighter with a 2-1 record. Um, he has
Yes.
more fights on his record. He has exhibition fights and he's competed all across. And I would say he
Mm.
even though his record might not reflect it, he is a veteran of some sorts. I think you'd agree with
Yeah.
that. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
talk to me what you think about his style and yeah, I mean, I have other questions about him, but yeah, what do you think about his style and what do you think about his record? And as you've mentioned, you did have you were scheduled to fight him before, so I'm sure you've done a lot of research on this guy. So talk to me like about that.
Yeah, so this is not the first time we have been matched. Like I said, we were supposed to fight in April, but it didn't happen. So
Right.
during that time also, I had a pretty good camp. I was doing my camp during that time in Warriors Cove, where
Right.
the champions are made. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a very good camp back there. Uh, especially I focused a lot on my grappling,
Right.
and it played a huge difference in my game.
Right.
Going there and doing my camp there. So, uh, coming to my opponent, like from what I've seen, is like he's from a grappling background,
Hmm.
like wrestling background. So I expected him to have a strong wrestling base. Plus, he's a southpaw. Uh,
Yeah.
so keeping that in mind, like I have me and my team, our coaches, we have like prepared a solid game plan for him. So,
Great.
and it's not like I said, it's not the first time that I prepare. So this time, like we already knew what to do.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, everything went on nicely, I should say. So everything is looking like perfect right now.
Oh, that's crazy because you already answered my second question, man. I was going to ask that only because he is a southpaw. That's what I was noticing. And even though
Yeah,
you right, he is a wrestler, he's a sneaky guy. Like his knockout over Oveis, they were wrestling, and when they were getting up, that's when he caught him with a head kick from southpaw. Like this guy is sneaky, like, and he slept
yeah,
Oveis.
yeah,
I don't know if you know, Oveis is like he's the winner of the MFN Contender Series 2023, if I'm not wrong, and he's supposed to be making his MFN debut.
yes,
So
yes,
this guy essentially sort of marked that debut by already taking his O before he even like in his first professional fight. So I feel like because
Mhm.
he's a veteran, he has a few sneaky tricks up his sleeve. But of course, I understand that since you and your team have game plan for him, you guys have all your bases covered.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, so one other question when it comes to this fight, I believe this fight is at a catch weight of 68 kgs, right? So, is there any
Yes, yes.
particular reason for that? Because technically, from what I've seen, Javed competes at lightweight, and yeah, so is there a reason for
Yeah.
that?
Like catchweight, particular reason, like we didn't want him to miss weight. That was
Ah,
the reason. We wanted him to uh be comfortable in a weight so that he won't be so uncomfortable or unwilling to cut too much weight.
right,
We
right,
wanted to make this fight happen no matter what. So uh my coach and me, we decided 68 catch weight will be better. Like
right.
mutually we talked about it. So we decided on that.
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So that means you plan to fight at featherweight when you're going pro, as you're going pro eventually.
Yeah, yeah. That's my plan. I will be sticking with featherweight after this fight. Yeah.
Okay. Because from what I believe, like when you were competing on the show, you were fighting at lightweight.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing about it, about the comedy show. Actually, I'm not a natural, lightweight. I'm not supposed to fight in lightweight. When I was in committee show, like my walking weight was only like 72, 73 hardly. So I
Ah,
wasn't cutting weight also, like basically, and I am competing at 70.
right.
And yeah, many of the guys there who I was competing with were heavier than me.
Yeah, they
So
looked huge. Some of them looked
but
really, some of them
yeah.
looked really big.
So,
Yeah,
so I'm not planning to do that in my pro debut. In my pro fights, in my
makes sense.
professional fights, I'll be sticking with featherweight. Yeah.
Understood. All right. So, like this is a question I have because you're making your pro debut in your hometown, and you even though you haven't made your professional debut up until now, you do have like if people across the country know your name and like so there's a lot of anticipation for this. So talk to me about like is there any pressure about making this professional debut, especially, like it's like, this organization which is kicking off their inaugural event by like it's organized by your own gym. Talk to me about the pressure and like how do you take it? Like,
Uh, from what I've like experienced from all my fighting years, uh, there's one thing like is the fear of defeat and like the pressure of winning. You know, it
yeah,
these two can, if you dwell into that too much, that can fuck up your mindset.
right,
So I, like I've from all my experiences now, I've been able to overcome that better.
right.
And plus, it's not my first time performing under big lights. I've been in this situation. So what I can just is like I'm confident in my preparation, whatever I've done. Everything is going good, and I've confident in my skill set, and I know that I can beat this guy. So yeah, so that's the mindset I'm just carrying in my mind
Right.
to be in a moment and like just perform and give my very best and to showcase my full potential in that fight. Yeah.
Understood. Understood. All right. So like I mean that's what like leads me to like one of my final questions, and that would because this is something, as you know, every fan, everyone who watches, MMA wants to always hear from the fighter. So would you have a particular prediction for this fight? And like if you do, please share it with us.
So obviously, whatever will happen. But uh, what I'm expecting is like I want to put my get my rhythm from the start and put the pressure on from the very beginning,
Mm,
and yeah, just put pressure on him. Display my skills and let him overreact. And I will look for finish, even if it's in the first round, second round, or third round. And even if I don't get it, also I would love to uh, end the match in a dominating fashion. Yeah, that's
right.
my mindset going into the fight. Yeah.
Right. All right. I mean, thank you so much, Nitso, for taking out the time.
Yeah, like you said, brother, thank you so much. You are doing a like wonderful job for us as well as fighters and athletes. So we appreciate what you're doing for us as well, for
Oh,
covering our fights, our stories, everything. So yeah, big kudos to you.
thank you so much.
And yeah, to the fans, just keep supporting your, yeah, just keep showing your love, keep showing your support to your fellow athletes, of your fellow country athletes. We need so much of your support and encouragement, because without the public support and love, I don't think one can go very far in
Right.
their career as well also.
Right.
So, and we do appreciate everyone who does that to every athlete out there in the country. So yeah, thank you so much, and stay tuned for my fight. I promise to bring a banger. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much.